The second season of the hit satirical series The White Lotus introduced some fresh new faces with its new ensemble cast, one of which is actor Will Sharpe, who plays Ethan Spiller. From the first episode, Will has audiences intrigued. His character, Ethan, is a successful tech geek who's on a vacation with his wife Harper, played by Aubrey Plaza, and joined by his college roomie and his wife. Might sound fairly innocent, but with The White Lotus, you can expect crazy twists and turns in each hotel guest's story. If you haven't seen Will before this show, he hails from London and has worked on a handful of BBC projects, and aside from acting, he's also a director and more. However, there's likely a lot that you don't know about this rising star. So stay tuned because we'll talk about everything from Will's childhood, his personal experiences with bipolar disorder, his rise to fame, and much more here for you on Famous Life. William Tomamori Fukuda Sharpe was born on September 22, 1986 in London, England, but raised in Tokyo, Japan until the age of 8. His mother is Japanese, but there isn't too much information published about his parents aside from that. We do know that Will has a brother named Arthur Sharpe. After Will returned to the United Kingdom, he went to school at Winchester College. When speaking about his upbringing in interviews, Will has touched upon his shyness that he somewhat carries with him now and how this stemmed partly from childhood. Until he was 18, his family did live in Tokyo and then moved to Surrey, England when his father, who now works for the Financial Conduct Authority, landed a new job. Will said about this, "If you're mixed race, when you're in Japan you feel British, and when you're in England you feel Japanese. You're trying to get your feet on the ground wherever you go. I definitely found it took some adjustment moving to England from Japan, and I think that has given me perhaps an outsider's perspective on here in the same way that I have an outsider's perspective on there." Considering Will has a bit of social awkwardness, you might not expect him to have wanted a career in the performing arts, but as a kid, Will also loved Japanese sketch shows and watching Mr. Bean. He also played in bands on the keyboard and guitar, and later as a teen he was president of Footlights at Cambridge, which is an amateur drama theater club. At Footlights, Will studied the classics, and after graduating he went to London and tried his hand at booking stand-up gigs. If you're wondering what his act was, the actor really can't remember. He said, "Sometimes I'd be so nervous I would do it in an American accent. I guess it felt like safety or something because I wasn't fully myself. I just like the feeling of trying things out, and in a funny way, even the times where it doesn't go well, when there's 4 people in a room and virtually no response, it felt motivating as well in a different way. It was a fun but strange time." Will graduated in 2008 and then joined the Royal Shakespeare Company for their 2008-2009 season, spending a year with them. During this time, he appeared in plays like Taming of the Shrew, The Merchant of Venice, and The Tragedy of Thomas Hobbes. One of Will's earliest on-screen roles was playing Yuki Reed, a smart but troubled second-year doctor in the BBC medical drama Casualty. He appeared in about 50 episodes from 2009 to 2010. Also in 2009, Will directed and co-wrote the short film Cockroach alongside his friend Tom Kingsley. Then the pair's first feature-length film Black Pond was shown at the Prince Charles Cinema in London at the end of 2011. Will became known for his skills both on and off screen, especially for writing, directing, and starring in the dark comedy drama Flowers, which premiered in 2016. This series tackled mental health and followed 4 eccentric members of the Flowers family as they go through their lives together and battle their inner demons. It starred Olivia Colman, Julian Barrett, Daniel Rigby, and Sophia DiMartino, aside from Sharpe himself. The first season won a BAFTA Television Award for Best Scripted Comedy, and the second series aired in 2018 to widespread acclaim. According to Will, he spent a lot of time sketching out the world of Flowers before pitching it. To his surprise, Channel 4, who would air it, got the show and commissioned a pilot, and Will was equally surprised and grateful when his script attracted stars like Coleman and Barrett. Will revealed, "The best thing for me about making the show was working with a cast that was also good. Julian is so controlled and really good. Olivia can always deliver what you need to achieve." While Will said at the time that his career focus was more on writing and directing than acting, he made a role for himself in Flowers so he could infuse it with the over-the-top humor found in Japanese film and TV. Will went on to say, "I wanted that flavor to be in the show somehow, and the Shun character is the conduit. He's quite an un-British character, and I quite like him holding up against the more British characters." His series Flowers also allowed Will to open up about his own mental health diagnosis. He said in 2018, "The other thing that I'm happy to talk about is that I have type 2 bipolar. So a lot of the stuff that I'm writing about is not directly from experience, but obviously my worldview is affected by that. Will also blogged about the importance of accurate portrayals of mental health on screen and how he hoped to showcase that in Flowers. He wrote, "Flowers is a show about family and the idea of home, but it is also a show about mental illness, the way it can impact on your life and the lives of those around you." Where the first series looked at depression, the second series focuses more on the subject of bipolar. From the beginning, we did our very best to be as sensitive and accurate as we possibly could in portraying mental illness and to deal with the subject in a helpful and responsible way. He went on to say that TV and film can affect the way we see the world as viewers, so it was important to Will that they portray mental illness on the series in an appropriate way. Will set out to make an uplifting comedy while including those tough subjects. And it seems that's exactly what he did. Furthermore, Will added that even at the darkest moments of his series Flowers, there was hope. He said, "My experience of mental illness is that it can sell you an overpoweringly compelling and fictional narrative about your life to which it can eventually start to feel like there is only one possible conclusion." The final episode of the second series of Flowers, I hope, challenges and offers, if you like, a break in the narrative. After Will's success with Flowers in 2020, he won a BAFTA Television Award for his supporting role as Rodney Yamaguchi in the BBC drama Giri Haji. In 2021, Will announced some other projects which were upcoming at the time, including Landscapers, which was a 4-part drama he co-wrote and directed for HBO and Sky, which featured Olivia Colman from Flowers once again. Then, Sharpe co-wrote and directed the feature film The Electrical Life of Lewis Wayne, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, which was inspired by a true story and based on the life of a chaotic British artist who became known in the late 19th century for his whimsical, sometimes psychedelic drawings of cats. It's no doubt, though, that Will has been brought to the attention of American audiences most in his recent role, joining the cast of The White Lotus in 2022 for its second season. This time, the series takes place at the White Lotus resort location in Sicily. And aside from a completely new setting, the season brought on almost an entirely new cast of characters, aside from Jennifer Coolidge and John Grease. Will plays Ethan Speller on this exciting new season of the hit satirical show, and he has us all intrigued from the first episode. His character Ethan is on a vacation with his wife Harper, played by Aubrey Plaza, and they are joining Ethan's college roommate Cameron, Theo James, and his wife, Daphne, Megan Fahey, on vacation. From the get-go, we can see how different Will's character is from his former college roomie, and his wife Harper isn't too fond of her husband's friend either, and believes Cameron may have ulterior motives for inviting them on the trip. Will portrays Ethan as a hesitant genius who's desperate to make peace on the vacation, but often making things worse. Will added about his character, "It feels like there is some sort of crisis looming. There's something going on with Ethan internally, so part of the challenge on screen was about how to manifest the internal struggles." Well, so far, it seems that Will's character Ethan is quite the fan favorite for this season of White Lotus, and viewers are finding themselves on the edge of their seats. Not unlike what he's doing for his character Ethan, throughout his career thus far, Will has often tried to find the humanity in characters who could have easily been stereotypes. For instance, Rodney, the charming and troubled sex worker he played in the thriller Giri Haji, as well as when he worked behind the camera in Flowers, Landscapers, and The Electrical Life of Lewis Wayne. Will noted that his approach to his role in The White Lotus was quite similar to his recent directing projects, stating, "They're all part of the same thing, which is storytelling. I'm just trying to work out, well, what's my job in this, and how can I invest in the world and the stories and the characters?" Well, whatever Will Sharpe is doing, it's most definitely working out for him. I'm sure that The White Lotus is only the beginning of him crossing over to a more global audience. And we can't wait to see what's in store for his character Ethan in the rest of the season, as well as what projects Sharpe will be on to next. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to Famous Life and leave a comment for who you'd like us to feature next.